Okay, so if you could give a little introduction, that would be great, like a brief introduction.
Okay, so my name is Atanas, or Nasko, whatever it's easier. I'm from Bulgaria. I moved to the States about 4 years ago. I used to live in Miami, and I moved to Chicago right during the pandemic. So there wasn't many like jobs opportunities, and I decided to try out Uber. It was the end of it was the end of 2020, I believe. So this is when I started, and at the end of 2020 was kind of slow, but it was some money still, and I decided to do it on New Year's Eve. I remember I was driving like 10 or 12 hours straight. I made a lot of money that day, and I decided to try it out on the following days. I still made a lot of money on the following days, and I was thinking it's just the New Year's hype, and I just kept going, and I was making a lot of money every day. And I realized that most of the drivers around this time was they were collecting unemployment and they were not out there driving. So I mean, just something clicked that might be like a good income. And I was doing it for 2 months straight. I think I started on New Year's exactly, and I did it for 2 months straight without any days off. And after
Oh,
that, I
wow.
started to like kind of burning out. And yeah, this is pretty much how I got into it.
Okay, that's cool. So do you know how much you earned in your very first week of driving?
It wasn't that much, but around that time, I thought it's a lot because when you when you hear about Uber, it's not like a high paying job. Um, but I remember that it was definitely more than 1,500, like 15 to 1,800. Back
Okay.
then, it was a lot. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
was a lot. Right now, I make up way more.
Okay, nice. Do you know how much you earned in your first 2 weeks of driving?
4,000. I can look it up. I mean, I can give you the
Okay, yeah.
screenshots. I'm not
That's
exactly
really
sure, but
good
I can
though.
I can give you the screenshots of my first weeks. But I remember in the first month I made about eight or 8 to 9,000, something like that.
Oh wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot. What do you think is like the most you've ever made in a single day of driving for Uber?
It was 800
Oh wow.
for 12 hours, and that was without. It was during the pandemic, and that was without any like quests or any like affiliate stuff or any extra. It was just pure driving income from the
Okay.
rides.
Yeah, that's really good. What mistakes do you think a lot of Uber drivers make?
Um, I believe that there's a different strategies depends on where you live. Like I live in Chicago. I think that's if not the best, probably one of the
Are you
top
like
three
downtown?
markets. Yes.
Okay.
So we get really high quests here, and I usually when I go out, I look for short rides, uh, short with short rides with search, and I try to just get as many rides possible to complete the quest as fast as possible. And if you live in an area where you don't have those like good quests, probably like longer rides will be the better strategy. So I can speak for my area, but in general, I don't want to tell something that's not going to be valid.
Yeah.
So I think with a lot of people, they aim for long rides. They think the long rides will make them a lot of money, but I think the money is in the short rides.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I hear
Yeah.
a lot of people say that.
hmm
Do you know why like an Uber driver would get deactivated, or do you know anyone that's been deactivated? Like they got their account banned?
Uh, Let me think, but I don't think I know anybody. But if I have to guess, I don't know if they act rude with the passengers.
Yeah.
I usually give my passengers like a lot of room. Like I make a lot of compromises. Uh, but I mean, if I never had like like a bad situation with a passenger. I mean, if they want to open the window, I'll let them. If they want to put some music, I'll let them. But mm, if I don't know, I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Why do you think a lot of Uber drivers end up quitting? Like, are there things that you really dislike about driving for Uber?
Uh, Me, I don't really have anything to dislike. To be honest, for me, the most important thing is the freedom that I get from driving. I mean, I make my own schedule. I really don't do well with having somebody on top of me telling me what to do. So that's why I really like Uber. Uh, but the only there's, I mean, I consider Uber like an entrepreneur job because you have to push yourself in order to make good money. Some people don't do well with that. Some people need somebody else to push them, and that's why I think it doesn't work for everybody. And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
that's why probably some people they quit because they don't have the discipline to push themselves.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense. I guess it
yeah,
is like it's kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a boring job, but like it can be
it's
really
very repetitive.
repetitive.
Yeah, it's very repetitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel that. I had so many times that I just burn out and I don't want to go inside my car.
Yeah, makes sense. Were you driving like part-time or full-time?
I do it full time,
Full-time. So how
but
much money?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Continue.
I was just gonna ask, how much money do you think a full-time driver could make on average? Like let's say like per hour.
Uh, so me personally, I was until I you probably know about the destination glitch that they just fixed the Uber. Before they fixed it, I was making 45 to 50 an hour. It was very consistent. But
Oh wow,
after
that's
they
really
fixed
good.
it, yeah, after they fixed it, that kind of screwed me up because I had like, uh, I had my locations marked. I just knew where I have to go from location to location. But after that, it really screwed me up, and my hourly rate dropped down significantly, probably like 35, 40, because I don't have this ability to choose where I want to go.
Yeah.
And right now, I think the market is kind of slow, at least here, I guess everywhere. Um, so yeah, but before before maybe a month or two, I was averaging 45, 50, even more. Even like
Okay.
I went up to 55, I think, for a few weeks.
So you think the driving rates have like they've probably gone down for you in the past year?
Definitely less surges, and the quests they're definitely lower than what they used to be.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot too.
Yeah.
So, do you know of like any scams that Uber drivers should look out for?
Um, I had a few times that my passenger they try to cancel in like a mid ride, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and they think they're gonna get their money back, but you're getting paid for the miles that you did. So at the moment they cancel the ride, you get paid from what you drove, and that didn't really work. But they tried to say that you are the one that canceled the ride, and they tried to get them to where they want to go, or
Yeah.
I mean stuff like that. But other than that, I cannot remember for like some like big scam that they try to pull on me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, being like such a um like you're obviously like better than the average Uber driver, I'd imagine. So, do you have any good tips for new Uber drivers?
Um, Definitely avoid the sketchy areas of their cities. Um, Also, what else? Um, I mean, they just have to be consistent with. They have to set their own schedule. They set their own targets, and they just have to have the ability to push themselves to actually hit those targets. And it's very, it's very hard. That's why when I start driving, I don't like to take a lot of days off because I'm getting to that comfort zone, and it's very hard to go back to it after.
Okay.
So if they're gonna set their schedule, they really have to stick to it and maybe don't allow themselves a lot of like a break time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the day, you have nobody to tell you when to work and how to work. So you have to be that person. You have to be your own boss.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, I mean, that's like pretty much all the questions I have. Um, oh, by the way, guys, we'll have all his links down below in the description.
Oh, okay.
Is there
Thank
anything
you.
you want to add or like any final thoughts about like Uber driving?
I mean, Uber driver is a very good gig. Uh, But as I said, you have to be your own boss. You have to push yourself. So it doesn't work for everyone, definitely. So if some people see that it doesn't work well for them, just find something else. Just yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
But definitely you can make a lot of money. If
Yeah.
if somebody tells you that you cannot, you can. Definitely you can. If you know what you're doing. So you have to build your own strategy, depends on the area that where you live, and you just have to follow it. Kind of like see what it works and what doesn't.
Well, thank you so much for
Oh, you're welcome.
all this great information.